Oh, everyone, I'm so annoyed because I had a match report for the Southampton game ready to go. It's the only game, the last one of the season, that I didn't get a match report out for. Every other game, I'm pretty sure I managed to get a piece of content out for. Even when I was out in Australia, the reason I didn't was because I had to get out of AFTV quite quickly. I had to get to an event. The internet wasn't working. And also I had a bit of a shocker on that match report. You wouldn't want to see it. I basically injured my rib. And if you watch the AFTV watch along, you'll have seen me talking about it. I played football and landed on it, with my elbow in between my rib and the floor. Anyway, I understand why Julian was out for so long, is all I'm saying. And I don't think I've done anything half as bad as what he did. So it was a little bit of a disappointing end to the season in terms of the content and wanting to bring you a match report. But look, if you want my general kind of thoughts on the game, great goal, Ødegaard. More of that next season, please. Delighted Tierney scored. And on the final day, we saw more of the PGMOL disaster class we've become used to this season in the Man United Villa game, which essentially cost Aston Villa Champions League football. So anyway, that was it. It's not been a fun season. You know I've not really enjoyed this season. We can go into that in a million ways on some live shows if you want throughout the summer. But I think what I really want to chat about is why we all need to kind of strap in a little bit and just come to terms very quickly with what we've seen not only in previous summers, but what we're going to see for a lot of this summer, which is constant reports, constant rumours, especially because Arsenal are going to be busy. I think if Arsenal were expected to have a somewhat quiet window, or anything like even the last summer window, I think you could expect the football media space to be covering lots of clubs in a lot of great detail, but Arsenal are going to be at the very forefront because of the Sesko Gyokeres decision, because of the amount of business that needs to be done, because of the quotes from Arteta, the Kroenkes and all that. So strap in. Should we go through some of the rumours? I mean, of course, I'm covering it all on the Goonerverse too, so I encourage you all to go there and just, subscribe to the channel if you want, but it's basically where if there's ever a news update, I will let you know essentially what I think of it, what's being said, how reliable I think it is. But in this video, I think we can just cover some of the stuff that's come out over the last few days that I didn't feel quite had enough weight behind it to actually make an individual video on, but maybe is worth exploring. It starts with this from Marca, aggregated by ZRAFC, saying that it's now Arsenal that are pushing the hardest to sign Julian Alvarez. The former Atletico director Andrea Berta knows perfectly what Julian can give and has put his name amongst the priorities for the window. Could we be going for Julian Alvarez only 12 months after he signed for Atletico Madrid for about £80 million? Well, his numbers are sensational with 29 goals and 7 assists in all competitions this season. So we know he's a talented player. We know he looked good at City, although I don't think City fans were devastated to lose him, especially for the fee they got. So I'm not really sure if it's a perfectly natural fit. But a lot of people ultimately can appreciate his quality, and maybe as kind of the starting nine, there's someone there that Arsenal could really build around. But he's a different kind of profile of player. This isn't the 6'2", 6'3" powerhouse of a forward that Arsenal have typically wanted to play with, whether it be a Kai Havertz, whether it be using Marino up there over Leandro Trossard, and being linked to the likes of Sesko and Victor Gyokeres. I think if we are going to go for someone who's a little bit more of, the dropping into the pockets player, who's got skill and flair and will play it more as a false nine, though still is able to get goals. I think you look at someone like Brighton and Mbeumo. I did a video on why he could be the false nine that leads the line for us, and why he could be someone that actually can spearhead our attack and can get the most out of a Saka and a Martinelli, whoever is out on the left-hand side. And with 20 league goals this season, I don't see why he couldn't be someone that we actually depend on in terms of real numbers and output for this next campaign that's coming. But having said that, Manchester United are the team that are making the most effort to sign him. They've held talks with Brian Mbeumo. He is valued at about £50 million. And this is where I've got to say, the title of the video at the time of recording is planned to be Strap In for a Big Summer. Strap in for a long summer, because you're going to get a lot of this. Arsenal want Mbeumo, then the Rodrigo stuff comes up, then actually Sesko's number one, then Gyokeres is number one. Constant back and forth, constant just rumours and noise. Only for then, actually, it looks like we're in for a player and then someone else comes in. We want a striker, so do Chelsea, so do Man United, probably Liverpool too. You're going to have a lot of highs and lows throughout this summer. So all I kind of urge everyone to do is just keep a lid on it slightly, wait till we hear the all-season reminders come out with something really concrete, and then we can start to get excited about players. I will cover it all here on the Goonerverse too if you want to be kept up with everything that's going on, that's being said, but we have to take everything with a pinch of salt. Let's talk about Julian Garcia, another player, another saga. And I want to just show you the second half of this, where it says that he lacks experience in European competition. This is a report on Julian Garcia, the Espanyol goalkeeper, but he's fully confident in his ability to become an important player at a big club. Hence, he isn't afraid of any challenge, no matter how much pressure he may have to endure. Does that mean that actually the pressure of coming and battling out with David Raya is one he'd like to be a part of? But then having said that, when you look at Arsenal situation with the funds they've got, do we need another battle for number one between Garcia and Raya like we had with Garcia? Well, we had with Raya and Ramsdale, although there was a kind of a clear winner there and always going to be. Do we need another situation dragged out? I mean, it looks like other clubs are going to come in for him, like a Newcastle or a Chelsea, Barcelona are linked. If they're to pick him up, then I think we're in a situation where we're going, why did we miss out on this really, really talented goalkeeper when the narrative not long ago was don't spend 25 million on a number two? So I mean, there's going to be so much fluff and so much conversation, so many kind of ups and downs throughout this window. This, I think, sums it up perfectly. Florian Plettenberg, who I've been quoting a lot on the Goonerverse too for some of his content and some of his updates and news and journalism around Arsenal transfers. But it gets to a point where then I even have to sift through stuff and go, hold on, how much weight is there really to this? Now, I did an update on the Goonerverse too about how Sesko was supposedly in talks because of what Florian Plettenberg said, and you can see it here. He said that he came with an exclusive. Arsenal now in concrete talks with Leipzig regarding Benjamin Sesko. If you want to hit the pause button to read that in more detail, you can. But only a day or two later, he says that Arsenal with Berta are currently focused on two strikers, Sesko and Gyokeres. And again, hit the pause button if you want to read that in more detail. So slightly conflicting reports. I asked the question in the Goonerverse too, just because Bert has picked up the phone to a club and maybe got a sense whether the player wants to join, does that mean that they're in talks? Can that be miscommunicated? Can that be, I don't know, something can maybe just not translate? I don't know. But the point is, we're going to get a lot of really relentless reporting. How about this from Florian Plettenberg as well, when he says not only are Bayern interested in Karim Mitoma, Arsenal have also added him to their list for the summer. And then I wonder, how does someone like Florian Plettenberg even know what's on the list? Surely there's a pretty secure document somewhere that only Mikel, Berta and a few others will actually have access to. And so again, there's going to be a lot of fluff, there's going to be a lot of hot air. We need to sift through it and we need to strap in for a lot more of this, and I will try to cover the things that I genuinely think have weight to them. But like I said with the Calafiori deal last season, Kai Havertz 2 years before, those reports originally came from Italian media who can be a little unreliable in reporting about English clubs and the targets for Italian players, but it also came from a Chelsea content creator, and Alex Goldberg, who will spot on about the Kai Havertz stuff, but isn't a renowned journalist. So you see all that and you go, well, where is there something to this? And I'll just do my best to try and make sense of it all, basically. And you know, drive some clarity over this summer. Because I think, like I said, I think there's going to be a lot. I think Arsenal need to sign 5 to 6 players, and with that, there's going to just be a lot doing the rounds that we're going to have to try and ignore if we don't think it makes sense. We're going to have to actually invest and put stocks into if we think there's something really going on there. So that's basically my general kind of catch up on all things transfers, people. From the Mbemo stuff to the Mitoma stuff to the... Who was I even talking about? There's so many players, I can't remember what I was talking about. To Alvarez, right, there we go. And Sesko and Gyokeres, all that. So, yeah, a bit of an update there. Like I said, more to come on the Goonerverse too. But I want to touch in on 2 other things. Obviously, we had the sort of trophy parade and the lifting of the trophy for Arsenal women. I think it's important. I know the Goonerverse typically covers men's first team football. We don't look at the academy. We don't look at Arsenal women's team. But as a club, there's a lot of stuff that we are disappointed in, whether it be the first team, whether it be the lack of investment, ambition, some have questioned. But there's also a lot to be really proud of with this club. Arsenal in 1987, I don't want to get that wrong, but in 1987 were one of the first major clubs to establish an Arsenal women's team. And in the last sort of year or two, we have broken a record with 59,000 at the Emirates Stadium to watch Arsenal women play. I think it was against Chelsea, and then broken that again by filling it to 60,000. They've now gone and won the Champions League, coming from behind against Real Madrid, 2-0 down, winning 3-2 with a 3-0 win at the Emirates. Coming from behind, having lost at home to Lyon 2-1 and winning away from home, then beating Barcelona, who were huge favourites for that game. Doing all that, and actually Arsenal having such a phenomenal standing of women's football, something we can be really proud of as a club. And then I look at other things like Ethan Waneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly making their way into the first team, and how Max Dowman is, go look at the clips online that are doing the rounds of Max Dowman playing for the England under-17s. Wow. I mean, wow, what a talent. And you just think that's the academy doing its job too. And there's a lot to be proud of with this club. There's a lot that we fell short on, especially this season. And there's a lot to answer for in terms of the men's first team and where we can get better and what this summer needs to do to address all those things. But as a club, there's still a lot we do that we could be very proud of. And of course, there's things that we could that are done that we're not proud of. But there are certainly things that we are. I mean, look at the pictures of the celebrations here outside the Emirates for the Arsenal women, lifting the trophy. You can see champions of Europe plastered around the Emirates, and rightly so. And then look at this picture here with the crowd behind. I mean, look at the turnout. What a phenomenal fan base and what a phenomenal club. And I do think it's important we don't lose sight of that too. But what was a day of celebrations for Arsenal and Crystal Palace too was meant to be a day of pure and utter celebrations for Liverpool as they won the title, absolutely deservedly so. But it was a day that's been sort of scarred by the awful scenes and incident with a man in his car driving through the crowd. Horrible scenes. Thankfully, as things no one has died, which is a miracle, and we wish a speedy recovery to all involved, and we wish the absolute best to everyone involved who's been affected by that, who was there on the day, who might have witnessed it and seen it, or have people involved. It's a desperately tragic situation, and no one should go to a football match or a parade in their city to celebrate their club, to have such a joyous moment ruined by something so tragic. And yeah, my thoughts go out to everyone there as well. It was a really sad way for the kind of season, to the domestic season, to sort of round off a season that's had many highs for clubs that haven't experienced it, like Newcastle, like Liverpool, not expected to win the league, but they did, like Crystal Palace at Wembley. I think Aberdeen won the Scottish Cup the other day, and there's been some great stories like Sunderland making it back to the Premier League. But it's so sad when, you know, we're talking about football here, a sport, and it's ruined by something like that. So yeah, my thoughts go out to everyone involved and affected by that in Liverpool, and anyone who maybe wasn't there but knows people affected by it too. Everyone, like I said, will be keeping you up to date with things here on the Goonerverse. And just to make it very clear and establish what's going on, the Goonerverse will be the home of analysis, research, somewhere where we can bring a little bit more depth to the conversations we're having. But we'll also be doing live shows when there's really big news. We'll be live with the community here. We've hit 50,000. I can't thank all of you. I can't thank all of you enough for subscribing to the channel and supporting the content that we've been doing. We'll be going live whenever there's big news here on the channel. We'll be doing our breakdowns and our news reports and everything here as well. The Goonerverse 2 is the extra stuff. It's the fluff. It's the stuff that I said, you know what, might be a little bit of BS here, but let's try and make sense of it. That'll be on the Goonerverse 2. A lot more gossip, a lot more just sort of added reports, a lot of the extra stuff. So go subscribe to that if you want to be kept up to date with that throughout the summer. I think the Goonerverse 2 will be the home of a lot of sort of, you know, the transfer conversations that I suppose some of you will be wanting and having as well. All right, everyone. The season is done. We look ahead to a big summer. And like I said, updates will be coming out throughout the summer. And Max has been working on, pick up Max, everyone. Go show some love for Max in the comments. We've been working on getting live streaming here. We can give you the best live streaming performance possible, and we can actually make everything feel one a little bit, and we can do a lot more of those lives and go live with the community more often. So yeah, looking forward to that too. All right, I've rambled on long enough. We'll leave it there. Big thanks. I'll catch you very soon.